Roosevelt Dime Alert, Hidden Silver Value. Stop scrolling. Listen to me. Be careful. How much is your old Roosevelt dime really worth? Most people don't know, and that's exactly why they lose it. This coin could change your life. Don't ignore this. So before you spend anything, check your pocket, check your wallet, check your change jar, because the coin you ignore today could be worth thousands tomorrow. And this is just the beginning. From here, it only gets rarer, more intense, and more valuable. Stay with me until the end. This is Numismatic Vault Extra, USA, United States. And these coins change everything. Fire money bag. Before stepping into the dream of million-dollar coins, there's one powerful truth you must understand clearly. There is number 1924 Roosevelt Dime. The Roosevelt Dime did not exist until 1946, created to honor Franklin D. Roosevelt after his passing. So when we talk about a 1924 dime with the D mint mark, we are actually talking about the famous Mercury dime, one of the most beautiful and collectible coins in American history. And this is where the real story begins. The 1924 D Mercury dime was born in the Denver Mint during a time when the United States was growing rapidly, stepping into a modern age while still carrying the weight of the past. This coin is made of 90% silver, giving it not only historical importance but real, tangible value. When you hold it, you are not just holding money. You are holding precious metal shaped nearly a century ago. Its design is often misunderstood but deeply symbolic. The figure on the front is not the Roman god Mercury, but a representation of liberty wearing a winged cap, symbolizing freedom of thought. On the reverse, a fasces, a bundle of rods with an axe, stands for strength and unity, paired with an olive branch representing peace. This balance of power and peace gives the coin a quiet authority that collectors admire. Now here is where the story becomes truly interesting. The 1924 D Mercury dime is not one of the most common coins of its series. Compared to other years, fewer were produced in Denver, and many were heavily circulated. That means high-quality examples today are much harder to find than you might expect. In worn condition, this coin may seem modest. You might find examples valued around $5 to $20, depending on how much detail remains. These coins have lived full lives, moving through decades of hands, slowly losing their sharpness, but gaining a story that cannot be erased. But the transformation begins the moment you encounter a better preserved piece. A coin with clear details, strong lines, and some remaining luster can quickly rise in value. At this level, collectors begin to take serious interest, and prices can climb into the hundreds. And then comes the level where imagination meets reality. A high-grade 1924 D Mercury dime, one that looks almost untouched, can reach into the thousands of dollars. These coins are rare because so few survived in such condition. Time, wear, and handling have erased most of them. Your vision of a $10,000 coin is not impossible, but it is reserved for the very best examples. A coin graded at the highest levels, with exceptional eye appeal and minimal imperfections, can indeed approach or exceed that number. These are not ordinary coins. They are elite survivors. There's another layer of value hidden within this coin. The mint mark. The small D on the reverse tells you it was struck in Denver. And for certain collectors, mint marks create an entirely different level of desirability. Completing a full set of Mercury dimes requires coins from different mints, and some are much harder to find than others. Condition is everything in this world. The sharpness of Liberty's hair, the clarity of the fasces, and the presence or absence of tiny marks can completely change the coin's value. A single grade difference can mean the jump from hundreds to thousands of dollars. There's also the possibility of rare varieties or striking characteristics. While the 1924 D is not known for dramatic errors like some other coins, subtle differences and exceptional strikes can still add premium value. Collectors are always searching for coins that stand out. But here's where we must be honest and grounded. The idea that this coin can make someone a billionaire overnight is not realistic. Even the rarest examples do not reach millions of dollars. However, they can absolutely reach into the thousands, and in some cases, around or above your $10,000 vision for top-quality pieces. What makes this coin powerful is not just its price, but its story. It represents a time when coins were made from real silver, when craftsmanship mattered, and when money itself had weight and substance. That feeling is something modern coins often lack. If you ever find a 1924 D Mercury dime, the first step is careful observation. Look at the details, the shine, the condition. Does it still have life in its surface, or has time worn it down? These small details hold the answer to its value. And one rule stands above all others: never clean the coin. Cleaning removes the natural surface and can destroy its collector value instantly. What seems like improvement is actually damage in the eyes of experts. The beauty of this coin lies in its balance between accessibility and rarity. It is not impossible to find, yet finding a truly exceptional one is a challenge. That challenge is what keeps collectors searching, year after year. In the end, the 1924 D Mercury dime is not just a coin. It is a reminder that value is layered. It is in the silver, in the design, in the condition, and in the history it carries. Most examples will remain modest, but a rare few will rise above the rest. And somewhere, quietly resting in a collection or hidden in an old box, there may be one extraordinary 1924 D dime, sharp, brilliant, nearly perfect, waiting for the moment when its true worth is revealed, turning a small piece of silver into a treasure that captures both imagination and reality. Next up, before we step into the dream of million-dollar treasure, there's an important truth you must clearly understand. There is number 1928 Roosevelt Dime. The Roosevelt Dime was introduced much later, in 1946, to honor Franklin D. Roosevelt. So when you mention a 1928 dime with no mint mark, the coin you are truly talking about is the Mercury dime, one of the most elegant and historically rich coins ever created in the United States. The 1928 Mercury dime, without a mint mark, was struck in Philadelphia, and that missing mint mark itself tells a story. In those years, Philadelphia coins often carried no mint mark, giving them a clean and classic appearance. This small detail might seem simple, but for collectors, it becomes part of the identity of the coin, a silent signature of where it was born. This coin is made of 90% silver, and that alone gives it a foundation of real value. Unlike modern coins made from cheaper metals, this dime carries precious metal within it. Even in its most worn condition, it holds intrinsic worth because of its silver content, a reminder of a time when money itself had weight and substance. The design of the Mercury dime is where art meets symbolism. The front shows Liberty wearing a winged cap, often mistaken for the Roman god Mercury, but actually representing freedom of thought. The reverse displays a fasces and olive branch, symbolizing strength and peace together. This balance gives the coin a deeper meaning, making it more than just currency. In 1928, the United States was living in a period of economic optimism just before the Great Depression. Coins from this time carry the quiet tension of history, the calm before a storm. When you hold this dime, you are touching a piece of that moment, a small object that survived one of the most dramatic periods in modern history. In ordinary circulated condition, the 1928 Mercury dime is not extremely rare. Many examples are worth around $3 to $15, depending on where. These coins have traveled through decades, losing their sharpness but gaining character. They are valued not just for money, but for the journey they represent. But everything changes when condition improves. A coin with clear details, strong lines, and visible luster begins to stand apart. At this stage, collectors start to notice, and the value rises steadily. It becomes more than just a coin, it becomes a collectible. As we move into higher grades, the numbers begin to climb more seriously. Uncirculated examples, with bright silver surfaces and minimal marks, can reach into the hundreds of dollars. These coins are rare because so few were preserved in such condition over nearly a century. Now we step into the level where your vision of $10,000 becomes possible. A near-perfect 1928 Mercury dime, graded at the highest levels, with exceptional eye appeal and flawless surfaces, can approach or even exceed that mark. These coins are extremely rare and highly sought after by serious collectors. However, the idea of this coin being worth millions or making someone a billionaire overnight is not realistic. Even the finest known examples do not reach that level. But reaching thousands, or even crossing into the five-figure range, is absolutely within the realm of possibility for the very best specimens. What makes this coin powerful is the combination of silver, history, and condition. It is not just about rarity in numbers, but rarity in preservation. Billions of coins may have been made across years, but only a tiny fraction survive in exceptional condition. Collectors also pay attention to subtle qualities. How sharp the strike is, how clean the surfaces are, how bright the luster remains. These details may seem small, but they can dramatically influence the value. In the world of coins, perfection is everything. There is also the emotional side of collecting. This coin connects people to a different era, a time when craftsmanship was prioritized and coins were made to last. Holding a 1928 Mercury dime feels different. It feels solid, meaningful, and real. If you believe you have one of these coins, the first step is to examine it carefully. Look at the details in Liberty's hair, the clarity of the fasces, and the overall condition. These features will tell you whether your coin is ordinary or something special. And always remember one critical rule: never clean the coin. Cleaning removes the original surface and can destroy its value instantly. What collectors want is authenticity, the untouched condition that preserves the coin's true character. The beauty of the 1928 Mercury dime lies in its balance. It is not impossibly rare, yet truly exceptional examples are hard to find. This balance creates excitement, the idea that something valuable could still be discovered. In the end, this coin is not just about money, it is about possibility. Most will remain modest in value, simple pieces of silver with a quiet story. But a rare few, shining with near-perfect preservation, will rise above the rest. And somewhere, perhaps hidden in an old collection or resting unnoticed in a forgotten place, there may be one extraordinary 1928 dime. Brilliant, untouched, almost flawless, waiting for the moment when its true value is revealed, turning a small silver coin into a treasure worth thousands and capturing the imagination of anyone who believes in hidden fortune. Next up, before diving into the dream of million-dollar treasure, you must understand one powerful truth. There's number 1929 Roosevelt Dime. The Roosevelt Dime came later, in 1946, to honor Franklin D. Roosevelt. So the coin you are truly talking about is the legendary Mercury dime, a silver coin filled with history, beauty, and hidden potential. The 1929 Mercury dime with no mint mark was struck in Philadelphia, and that absence of a mint mark tells its origin. In that era, Philadelphia coins often carried no mark, giving them a clean, classic appearance. This coin is made from 90% silver, meaning it holds real intrinsic value, not just collector value. Even in its simplest form, it is worth more than its face value because of the silver inside. USA Coin Book +1. The year 1929 itself carries deep historical weight. It was the year of the great stock market crash, the beginning of the Great Depression. This coin existed at that turning point in history. Imagine it passing through hands during uncertain times, when money was scarce and every coin mattered. That gives it emotional and historical depth beyond price. In ordinary circulated condition, the 1929 Mercury dime is not extremely rare. Many examples today are worth around $3 to $10, depending on condition. These are coins that lived hard lives, worn down by decades of use. They are valuable mostly for their silver content and history. Coin trackers +1. But everything changes when condition improves. A coin with clear details, strong features, and some remaining shine begins to rise in value. Collectors look closely at Liberty's hair, the sharpness of the fasces, and the overall surface quality. Small details create big differences. When the coin reaches uncirculated condition, meaning it was never used in daily life, its value can climb significantly. Typical uncirculated examples can reach $50 to $100 or more, depending on quality. These coins are much harder to find because most were used in commerce. USA Coin Book. And now we step into the exciting territory you are imagining. Extremely high-grade examples, especially those with what collectors call full bands on the reverse design, can reach much higher values. In rare cases, coins graded at the very top levels have sold for over $1,000. This is where the coin becomes truly special. Coin identifier. Your idea of a $10,000 coin is not impossible, but it belongs only to the rarest, most perfect examples. A nearly flawless 1929 dime, with exceptional strike, brilliant luster, and perfect details, could approach that level in the right market conditions. These coins are extremely rare and highly sought after. However, the dream of millions or becoming a billionaire from this coin is not realistic. Even the finest mercury dimes do not reach millions. But reaching thousands of dollars is absolutely possible for top-quality pieces, and that alone is powerful for such a small coin. What makes this coin fascinating is the balance between common and rare. Millions were made, over 25 million in Philadelphia alone, yet only a tiny fraction survived in near-perfect condition. That is where rarity is created, not in how many were made, but in how many survived untouched. Coin trackers. Collectors also value beauty. The mercury dime is considered one of the most artistic coins ever designed. The flowing lines, the winged cap, and the balanced reverse design make it stand out even today. It is not just money, it is art and silver. There is also the hidden world of errors and varieties. While not extremely common for this year, any unusual strike, doubling, or misalignment can increase the value dramatically. These rare mistakes turn ordinary coins into collector treasures. If you ever find a 1929 mercury dime, the first step is to examine it closely. Look at the shine, the details, and the condition. A worn coin tells a story. A sharp, bright coin tells a much more valuable one. And always remember one rule that can protect your fortune. Never clean the coin. Cleaning removes the natural surface and destroys collector value instantly. In the coin world, originality is everything. The power of this coin is not just in its price, but in its possibility. Most will remain modest in value, simple silver coins worth a few dollars. But a rare few, perfect, untouched, extraordinary, can rise into the hundreds or thousands. This is what makes coin collecting so addictive. The idea that something small, something overlooked, could hold hidden value creates a sense of excitement that never fades. Every coin becomes a question. Is this the one? In the end, the 1929 mercury dime is a symbol of hidden opportunity. It teaches that value is not always obvious, that rarity can exist within abundance, and that history can live inside the smallest objects. And somewhere, perhaps in an old collection or forgotten drawer, there may be one extraordinary 1929 dime, brilliant, flawless, and rare, waiting for the moment when its true value is revealed, turning a simple 10-cent coin into a treasure worth thousands, and proving that even the smallest piece of silver can carry a story of fortune. Next up, before we step into the excitement of hidden treasure and dreams of life-changing value, there is one important truth to understand clearly. There is number 1935 Roosevelt Dime. The Roosevelt Dime was introduced later, in 1946, to honor Franklin D. Roosevelt. So the coin you are truly talking about is the 1935 D Mercury Dime, one of the most iconic silver coins in American history, filled with character, beauty, and real collector potential. The 1935 D Mercury Dime was struck in Denver, and that small D mint mark carries meaning. It tells you exactly where the coin was born, in the heart of the American West, during a time when the nation was slowly recovering from the Great Depression. This coin is made of 90% silver, giving it both intrinsic and collectible value. Even in its simplest form, it is worth more than 10 cents because of the precious metal it contains. When you hold a 1935 D Mercury Dime, you are touching a piece of history that lived through one of the most difficult economic periods in modern times. Coins like this moved through the hands of people who were rebuilding their lives, saving every cent, and depending on money like this for survival. That emotional weight gives the coin a depth far beyond its size. In circulated condition, the 1935 D dime is relatively common. Many examples today are worth around $3 to $10, depending on how much where they show. These coins have lost some of their sharpness, but they still carry the story of their long journey through time. As the condition improves, the story begins to change. A coin with stronger details, clearer lines, and traces of original luster becomes more desirable. Collectors begin to take notice, and the value starts to rise steadily. The difference between a worn coin and a well-preserved one can be dramatic. When you move into uncirculated condition, where the coin has never been used in everyday transactions, the value increases significantly. Bright silver surfaces, clean details, and minimal marks can push the coin into the range of $50 to $150 or more, depending on quality. But the real excitement, the level you are imagining, comes at the very top. A 1935 D Mercury dime in near-perfect condition, with sharp strike, and what collectors call full bands on the reverse, can climb much higher. These are coins that look almost untouched by time, and they are extremely rare. In exceptional cases, top-grade examples can reach into the thousands of dollars. While $10,000 is a very high level and only possible for the absolute finest known coins, it is not entirely impossible. It represents the peak of quality, where rarity and perfection meet. However, it is important to stay grounded. The idea of this coin being worth millions or making someone a billionaire overnight is not realistic. Even the rarest Mercury dimes do not reach that level. But the possibility of owning a coin worth hundreds or even thousands is very real, and that alone is powerful. What makes the 1935 D dime fascinating is the balance between its availability and its rarity. Millions were made, yet very few survived in perfect condition. Time, handling, and wear have reduced most coins to average quality, leaving only a small number as high-grade treasures. Collectors pay close attention to fine details, the sharpness of Liberty's hair, the clarity of the fasces, and especially the horizontal bands on the reverse. All of these elements determine the coin's grade and value. A single small detail can mean a huge difference in price. There's also the artistic beauty of the Mercury dime. Many collectors consider it one of the most beautiful coins ever produced in the United States. The flowing design, the symbolic imagery, and the balance of strength and peace make it more than just money. It is a piece of art. Sometimes, rare variations or striking differences can add extra value. While not common for this year, any unusual feature, like doubling or striking errors, can turn an ordinary coin into something far more valuable. If you ever come across a 1935 D Mercury dime, the most important step is careful observation. Look at the shine, the details, and the overall condition. Ask yourself whether the coin still carries its original life or if it has been worn down over time. And always remember the golden rule of coin collecting. Never clean the coin. Cleaning may seem helpful, but it destroys the original surface and can reduce the value dramatically. Collectors value authenticity above everything else. The beauty of this coin lies in its quiet potential. Most examples will remain modest in value, simple silver coins with a rich past. But a rare few, those that survived untouched, can rise into the hundreds or thousands, capturing the attention of serious collectors. This is what makes coins like the 1935 D Mercury dime so exciting. They are not just objects. They are opportunities, stories, and mysteries waiting to be uncovered. Every coin carries a question, and sometimes that question leads to something extraordinary. In the end, the 1935 D Mercury dime stands as a symbol of hidden value. It reminds us that even in difficult times, something lasting and meaningful can be created. And somewhere, perhaps hidden in a forgotten place, there may be one perfect example, bright, sharp, and nearly flawless, waiting to reveal its true worth and turn a simple piece of silver into a treasure worth thousands. Next up, before we step into the powerful dream of hidden millions and life-changing discoveries, there is one important truth you must understand clearly. There is number 1940 Roosevelt dime. The Roosevelt dime only began in 1946 to honor Franklin D. Roosevelt. So the coin you are truly describing is the 1940 S Mercury dime, a silver coin rich with history, artistry, and real collector value. The 1940 S Mercury dime was struck at the San Francisco Mint, and the small S mint mark on the reverse is a quiet but powerful detail. It tells you where the coin was born, near the Pacific coast, at a time when the world was on the edge of global conflict. This coin is made of 90% silver, giving it intrinsic value that goes beyond its face value of 10 cents. The design of this coin is one of the most admired in American history. The front shows Liberty wearing a winged cap, symbolizing freedom of thought, while the reverse displays a fasces and olive branch, representing strength and peace together. This combination gives the coin a timeless message, making it more than just currency. It becomes a symbol. In 1940, the United States was emerging from the Great Depression and preparing for the changes that would come with World War II. Coins like this were part of everyday life, used in markets, wages, and daily survival. When you hold one, you are holding a piece of that uncertain yet determined era. In worn, circulated condition, the 1940s Mercury dime is quite common. Many examples today are valued between $3 and $10, depending on their condition. These coins have traveled through decades, carrying the marks of time, but still holding their silver content and historical presence. As the condition improves, so does the story the coin tells. A piece with clearer details, less wear, and some original shine begins to stand apart. Collectors look closely at the fine lines in Liberty's hair and the definition of the fasces on the reverse. These details are what separate ordinary coins from desirable ones. When you reach uncirculated condition, where the coin shows no signs of use, the value increases significantly. Bright luster, clean surfaces, and sharp features can push the value into the range of $50 to $150 or more. These coins are much harder to find because most were used in everyday transactions. Now we step into the level that matches your vision of a $10,000 coin. The key factor here is something collectors call full bands. This refers to the horizontal bands on the fasces being fully visible and sharply struck. Coins with full bands are rare and highly prized. A 1940s Mercury dime with full bands in very high grade can reach into the thousands of dollars. In exceptional cases, where the coin is nearly flawless, values can approach or even exceed $10,000. These are not ordinary coins. They are elite examples that survive time almost perfectly. However, it is important to remain realistic. The idea of this coin being worth millions or making someone a billionaire overnight is not true. Even the rarest examples do not reach that level. But reaching thousands of dollars is absolutely possible. And that is what makes this coin exciting. What makes the 1940s special is the balance between quantity and quality. Millions were minted, but only a small number survived in top condition. That is where rarity truly exists, not in how many were made, but in how many remain exceptional today. Collectors also appreciate the beauty of this coin. The Mercury dime is often considered one of the most artistic coins ever created in the United States. Its flowing design and symbolic imagery give it a timeless appeal that continues to attract collectors around the world. There is always the possibility of hidden surprises. While not common, minting errors or unusual characteristics can increase value significantly. These rare variations are what collectors dream of finding. If you believe you have a 1940s Mercury dime, the first step is to examine it carefully. Look at the sharpness of the details, the brightness of the surface, and the presence of full bands. These features will determine whether your coin is ordinary or something truly special. And always remember the most important rule: never clean the coin. Cleaning removes the original surface and can destroy its value instantly. What collectors want is authenticity, the untouched condition that preserves the coin's true character. The beauty of this coin lies in its quiet potential. Most examples are modest in value, simple silver coins with a long history, but a rare few, those with exceptional preservation and detail, can rise into the hundreds or thousands of dollars. This is what makes coin collecting so powerful. It is not just about money. It is about discovery, history, and the thrill of finding something rare in an ordinary place. Every coin carries a possibility, and sometimes that possibility becomes reality. In the end, the 1940s Mercury dime stands as a symbol of hidden value and historical strength. It reminds us that even the smallest objects can carry great meaning and potential. And somewhere, perhaps in an old collection or forgotten drawer, there may be one perfect example, bright, sharp, and nearly flawless, waiting to reveal its true worth and transform a simple 10-cent coin into a treasure worth thousands.